many different cells. So which cell it can stay on? We will base this. We name this is the S criterion. That is, if this cell as such is SRP or SRQ could meet this criterion, okay, I can select this cell. This is the basic criterion, basic strategy. First, the cell it should meet the SRP, the cell coverage you can greater than this value. So for this S criterion is that we will get a value of S. If this value, the S value, is greater than 0, we think this cell we can stay on. So here is the S value. The S value is SRS LEV. This is the receive level. I received the SRP level or I received the SRQ level. So we use the SRP as an example. So this is the received SRP level. This level is should greater than 0. So how to evaluate this level? So we have one parameter is that we performed the measurement. We measure that, we detect that the SRP is this value, the Q, Rx. So the S. So we define one value as R. We define one value as S. This value is equals that. The SRP we measured, we use the measure kit. And we measured SRP, it should greater than 1 threshold. So this threshold is this part. This is the threshold. So if we measure the SRP greater than this threshold, we think the UE can select the cell. So how to define this threshold? So at least we need to make a threshold for SRP. Yes? So for this value is the minimum received SRP. This is the minimum value. So if we don't set others, it's okay. We just consider the measured and the minimum. If the measured is greater than the minimum, okay, I can select it. But because in our network we have different PLMN, so sometimes it will give the higher priority PLMN compensate. If there is a PLMN, we will just as a high priority. So the high priority, this threshold will be lower. So we will give offset. This offset is used for high priority PLMN. If there is no high priority PLMN, so this offset is equals 0. If there is no high priority, this value you can set it. Even we have a high priority, you can also set 0. So this value in this part is we consider this is the measured value. Yes? Measured SRP. This is we set the minimum. SRP. So if we only consider the network, we don't consider the UE, it's okay. But for different UE, it may have a different capability. For example, now, if we don't consider the UE, this is the cell. I set the minimum is minus 120. So if I measure this SRP greater than minus 120, I can access this. I can access this cell. But if 2UE, it has different capability of power. For example, UE1, we set the UE maximum transmit power is 23 dBm. But the UE have a different capability. It may be greater than this value, may be same with this value, may be less than this value. So the PE max, that is, we set the network set, the UE can use maximum power as 23 dBm. But the UE have different capability. For UE1, it can use the power, its capability is 20 dBm. For UE2, it's 23 dBm. For UE3, it's 25 dBm. If we only set this criteria, we don't consider the UE. So we set this parameter, the minus 120, that means at the cell edge, if the SRP is greater than minus 120, if it's this value, the UE use the maximum power it can access to the network. So now for UE1, the power is only 20 dBm. It cannot use 23 dBm. Yes? This is the network design. The network configure. When you use 23 dBm, the SRP is minus 120. You can stay on it. When you transmit the data, the node can receive it. But if your power is less than it, actually you cannot transmit this. The node cannot receive it because I cannot use this power. For example, the UE1, I only have 20 dBm. I cannot use 23. So when I attach to this cell, I need to be near than this edge, right? So actually this value, it should greater than minus 120. So we need to give it a composite. But here, for UE2, it can use 23. UE3, it also can use 23 dBm. They can use this maximum value. Okay, at this edge, I can attach to the network. I can transmit the data successfully. So we need to consider the different UE capabilities, not only the network. Not only the network. So we add a compensation. So this is only consider the network. We also need to consider the compensation. The compensation is based on the UE. Here is a compensation. The compensation is that this value is equals to the max, PE max minus PU max. For PE max is the network configure, how many you can use. The PU max is the UE capability. It's the UE capability. So if the PE max minus PU max, for example, here the UE1, the PE max is greater than the PU max. So we should give it 3 dB compensation. Here is minus 3. This value, the maximum value is 3. So we will give it a 3 dB compensation. So now it's not the threshold. Actually, threshold is not minus 120. It's minus 117. Yes. But if for UE2 or UE3, the PU max UE capability is greater than the PE max. The network configured. This value is a minus 1. So the compensation is 0. We don't need to give the UE or compensation. So this is according to the UE capability. We give the different UE or compensation. So if the UE have a higher capability, okay, you only waste the network. But if the UE power is lower than we configured, the capability is lower than we configured, okay, we need to give it a compensation. So usually all the UE for a normal UE, not in our network, we use Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5 like this. It's 23 dBm. That is usually the PU max equals to the PE max. So these two values is equal. So the compensation is 0. Now we can change this criterion. We change this criterion to this kind. Now this SR level, as receive level, it equals to this minus this. This is the minimum. We think this is 0. So if this value is greater than 0, okay, we can select the cell. So all the reselection cells, it should first meet the cell selection criterion. If it cannot meet the cell selection, even it meets the cell reselection, we cannot reselect it. So this is a basic. And here we will get this S value. In the later, we will use it many times. When we set the threshold, we will set this S. We will compare it with this S. So this is for the cell selection. So for this example, we think is for RSR. Our network we deployed is based on R8 and R9. If we use R8, we only consider the SRP. If our network is R9, we need also consider the SRQ. So this is perform SRP or SRQ is based on the UE capability. Some UE, yesterday we see the Signalians, we see the UE have a capability. It relates to that, okay, which release it support, is R9 or R8, yes? So if it's R8 UE, okay, it's only considered as RP. If for R9, it may be considered as RQ. And this is also configured by the network. But network is in node beside, we also will configure it. It's R8 or R9. Both network and the UE are R9. It will use as RQ. But if only network is R8, UE is R9, we also only perform the SRP. Yeah, it's based on both two, UE and network. Both two are R9. Then we will use it together. So this is for cell selection. So here, if we set this minimum SRP for cell selection, if we set this value as minus 122. If we set this value as minus 122, this is the minimum. So if this value set greater, that means is required the network have a good coverage. We cannot select this cell so easily. Yes. So if you set this value is lower, a small value, okay, the UE can easily select this cell. But if it's too low, this value is too low, even the UE can select the cell, but maybe the UE cannot do service because it's too low. The coverage is too bad. So this is the value. So if we set